Texas Stars facing off with the Iowa Wild back here at home after a 3-game set with the Cleveland Monsters and 4 games in 5 nights for the Stars and the Wild. Hello, welcome to this series preview. Brian Tossi joining you, and the Texas Stars coming off of a tough series in Cleveland where they picked up 1 win in the 3 games. And unfortunately for Texas, found themselves behind the 8 ball early on in those games and needed to battle back, something that they won't necessarily be able to do against this Iowa Wild team coming into this stretch.
Goals are going to go in either way, but when you bunch them together 3 in one direction, it's a big hole to climb out of. We were fortunate to stay in the fight and come back from that deficit on Saturday, but that's too much of a hole to try and do on back-to-back nights. So, goals are going to happen. We've done a pretty good job for most of the year, having consistency in our offense, but to come from a 3-0 climb back-to-back nights, that was a little too much to overcome.
The series so far with the Iowa Wild has been great this season. It's been back and forth through the first 5 games. The Texas Stars have won 3 of those 5 games, and they've all been very tight contests. All the way through the second period, it's been at least a 1-goal game, and usually the third period has decided it for the Stars and the Wild. They're
a good team. Every team is good, and I think they're well coached, they're well structured. Obviously there's a little rivalry amongst the teams as well, which is always fun to be a part of. And, with a couple of key guys back in their lineup, they have some dangerous players, Mayhew, Addison. We know they can, make something happen on a moment's notice. So we're going to have to be at our best, and we're going to need to have a lot more consistency, knowing that we're going to be playing a good hockey team today.
Texas's offensive attack has been the catalyst for the team this season, and you don't have to look too far for the offense other than the line of Adam Maskeren, Riley Damiani, and Nick Baptiste. Those 3 were electric in Cleveland, and so far some big point streaks for them all, including Nick Baptiste, who's on a league-high 9-game point streak with 13 points in that stretch, not to mention Adam Maskeren, who's leading the team with 10 goals this year, and also Riley Damiani with 14 helpers leads the team and is among the top 5 in the American Hockey League.
And we've talked about them a lot. They're a good line, and they each have different intangibles that they bring strengths to the line, and I think they complement each other, and that's the big thing. They're not. It's not a cookie cutter look where each guy brings a little something different, and I think they all hold equal weight and value to that line. But I think moving forward, it's important that we find our secondary scoring, which was a big part of our offense throughout the year, and it's important that we find that again.
The Stars are going to have to be wary of Gabriel Dumont going into this series. He leads the Wild against the Stars, not to mention he leads the team in points, 8 goals and 8 assists on the year, and he has absolutely been the #1 star killer going into the first 5 games of this year. Special teams will also play a big factor in the game, with the Texas Stars capitalizing on power plays as of late, picking up 4 power play goals in the last 5 games. Meanwhile, the Wild have struggled on special teams and really could use a pick-me-up this week.
It's ruts and grooves. I mean, you're playing a very similar game, and you do a few little things throughout the course of 60 minutes that add up to victories, and next thing you know, you're feeling like you're in a groove. Same can be the other way. A few swing-aways on pucks, a few almost lanes in the D zone, not finishing on the forecheck. Next thing you know, you feel like you're in a rut. So we got to get back to our identity a little bit, and then you can start to build some momentum. But it starts by playing the game the right way for 60.
Make sure you tune into all of the games this week on AHL TV, also TexasStars.com/listen. And you can also join us here at HEB Center in limited capacity. Tickets available at TexasStars.com. Thanks for watching this series preview, and join us as the Stars face the Wild for 4 games in the next 5 nights.